How's it hanging, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be doing my review for Lucky Hank, Season 1, Episode 4, which was titled The Goose Boxer. And it was a great episode. Might actually be my favorite episode of the show so far. Either that or the pilot. I think those were both very strong episodes. But honestly, 4 for 4 for this show. I think every episode's been good so far. And I was expecting this show to be good, to be honest, because it's got Bob Odenkirk and... it's just got great writing. It's very funny. And if you've seen my previous reviews, you know I've been digging this show, and I don't know why it doesn't get enough praise. But yeah, really good episode. We have the iconic quote from the book where Lily tells Hank, you're either going to wind up in jail or the hospital, or at least she has this feeling that he will. And of course, by the end of the episode, Hank is behind bars in a jail cell. And yeah, it's funny. It's ironic? I don't know. What's the word for it? But it's kind of a full circle moment, I guess you could say. Foreshadowing. I'm just throwing out literary terms at this point. Okay, but basically we have this storyline with Lily going to the Carlisle School in New York City for this job opportunity, and that she comes across Tom, and they're flirty. They got a little flirty relationship going on. And then by the end of the episode, Tom actually ends up kissing Lily, and that was very awkward. And yeah, it made it seem like at first Lily doesn't want to kind of go through with this because she thinks moving to New York would be a bit of a big deal, be a bit too much stress in her life. But then by the end of the episode, it makes she smiles, and it makes it seem like maybe she will go through with this job opportunity after all. And definitely in the promo for next week's episode, it does kind of make it seem like she actually will go through with this. And either that or it's just edited in a way that kind of makes you believe that's going to be happening. But anyway, the main central plot of this episode was with Hank, obviously, and he meets with Dickie Pope at the beginning, and Dickie's obviously wondering where the list is because Hank was supposed to give him a list of faculty so that Dickie could fire because of all the budget cuts. But then we find out they're making this thing called the Jeffrey Epstein Center. What? That caught me so off guard. What was... It's so funny, though. Jeffrey Q. Epstein. What was that about? That was so funny. But basically, Paul and Gracie, I forget which one it is, Grace or Gracie, and the rest of the faculty, of course, Finney, Billy, they all want to protest against the staff from getting fired because of all the budget cuts, and they want to make it known that they shouldn't make this Jeffrey Epstein Center with the money that they could be giving to them to help support them and all that stuff. And then they want to make this little bit of a protest when the news show up because of this Jeffrey Epstein Center that's being announced. So then they put together these signs, and this one guy spells humanities wrong. Humanites. It's so funny, man. And yeah, they were just very desperate. They were trying to get noticed by the news and trying to make a bit of a stand for themselves. Bit of a protest, of course. But then we find out that Hank kind of helps them with this, and the Goose kind of pisses him off, and he takes out his boxing glove and says that he is going to box a goose a day until his budget's restored. And that's a very iconic scene from the book. It's slightly different, of course. He does not say he's going to box a goose a day. He straight up just says he's going to kill a goose a day. I think he even grabs the goose by a neck and just... At least that's the way I envisioned it in my head when I was reading it. Maybe he doesn't actually grab it by the neck, but he does... There's no boxing. It's just he straight up will kill a goose. So it's a bit more vicious in the book. I mean, it's still very comedic, and I was giggling to myself a little bit when I was reading it because it's just a wacky scene, and Bob Odenkirk in this episode was just so good. But he's been good this whole season so far. Of course, Bob Odenkirk's the GOAT. It's just, I'm glad we got to see a bit more of his wacky side in this episode with that goose scene. And I was looking forward to that goose scene for a while because, yeah, it is just one of the most iconic scenes in the story. It's very funny, and I loved it. But we did, obviously in shows like Better Call Saul, we do get to see a comedic side of not of Better Call Saul, but of Better Call Saul, because Better Call Saul is sometimes comedic, but mostly we get to see a comedic side of Bob Odenkirk in that show sometimes. But in this show, we could see way more of it. And while this show is still considered a drama, there is definitely a lot of comedic moments in it. So it's just good to see Bob Odenkirk's range, if you will. But basically, the faculty loves Hank now because he helped them with their situation and trying to get them noticed by the news. And obviously, Hank was noticed. As we see later at the bar, they watch the news, and he's on it. It's very funny. But yeah, they love him. They're all chummy with him now. And I like that. They're kind of on good terms now. But then by the end of the episode, Hank, of course, does get in a bit of a scuffle with that one guy. I don't know if he was a gardener or what, because he was planting some stuff earlier in the episode. I like that one scene where you see him in the background as Hank and Tony are stepping on the soil that he just put down, and you can just see in the background he's so disappointed. He's like, oh, come on, he's so annoyed. But that was funny. And then yeah, I liked him just laying back in the jail cell. And yeah, it was a good episode. Really enjoyed it. I wish more people watched this show. But if you have seen this episode, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Is it maybe your favorite episode as well? Because it probably is my favorite episode so far. Maybe. But yeah, there you guys go. That's all I got to say about it. Post your thoughts and comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And make sure to check out my Twitter and Letterboxd down in the description. I'd appreciate it. I'll follow back. Maybe. If you're good. Okay. See you guys in the next one. Peace.